flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. The first item I guess we have is the public hearing for the tax levy. This is our annual Hancock Amendment obligated endeavor. If anyone's got any questions. We'll sit quietly for a couple minutes until we make sure nobody shows up late and deny their opportunity. Tony, do you have any comments on the public hearing, for the public hearing?
Yes, I do. I would appreciate it if you wait to start the meeting until I get here. Oh, good to see everyone. Thank you.
That should be especially lit.
I'm looking at this, it looks like the tax rate is gonna stay the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, that's
There's no
right.
change.
Stay the same. I take a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now on with the show. Approve of the Aldermen September 4th meeting and business session minutes and the September 18th public hearing minutes.
Motion to approve both.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up, approval of the bills list.
Move to pay the bill.
Second.
Any questions or discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up, public comments. I think, okay, we'll start in the back and we'll work our way forward.
I couldn't see behind me.
Okay.
My name is Cheryl Duncan. My husband and I own the Hudson Room. We're coming today to ask permission to be able to have alcohol on the sidewalk. We're going to have an event on Thursday, October 30th for Bulls Night. We did it last year between our place and Tammy Sue's. So we're just coming to get permission for that evening.
And you were, last year, Joe, was there any special permitting or anything we had to do? Just a motion approval? Any concerns, chief?
No.
Is there
Motion to approve.
Second.
any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sounds like you're in business.
Thank you.
Belly up to the bar.
Ms. Richards? You look like you had a comment or a question.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I thought, I don't know anybody else that's Ms. Richards.
Well, you called me Miss Richard, I'm not used to that. I'm Tony and Richard, I'm the CEO of the HCC network. We have the clinic across the street. And we are in the process of purchasing some land north of town to build a new clinic.
Isn't it south of town?
I mean south of town, sorry, south of town. To build a new clinic. It's gonna be a very long process. We're 6 months out from probably even having an architect. We have to go through a lot of hoops in order to get to that. We're going to keep our buildings downtown. We'll be repurposing them for some outreach activities as well as probably some offices. But when we were checking on the driveway into the property, so it's the Turning Point Storage, and the church, I'm trying to think of the church, the storage unit, and then the green space is the land we're purchasing. I believe the storage units own the drive, and so we'll have to put our own drive in. When we were inquiring about that, we were told we needed to come to this meeting tonight to share our plans. So I'm sharing our plans. One question I have is the title company and the realtor, the address on all of our paperwork is 1213 Sibley Street. And yesterday, and I'm sorry, I was out of town, so I had somebody else go down and check on it, said the city would need to assign an address. And I guess my question is, do you assign that address when we put a driveway in? Are you wanting me to ask for that address now? And if so, I guess I'll have to ask the title company if we need to update that, then.
I don't think you have to, I mean, obviously you don't have to tonight, but if 1213 is not taken,
Yeah.
we give you 1213, so it'll match.
The
your
next
picture.
number that's not taken, that fits in.
The listing was 1213, the GIS was 1213, but the lady at the city said it would be 1211.
I'll check into that.
Are we good to close with 1213 on the paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I'm pretty sure that 1211 is the storage lot, and then the next entry lot will be 1213. Pretty sure.
The post office also assigns that address for the postal number also, we have that on the form.
Which is what I thought.
Yeah.
But everybody's good if we close at 1213, and then if we have to update addresses for her.
Right, yeah, because until we see, I mean,
Yeah.
certainly right now it's just a real estate transaction.
Right.
But I'd say go forward, but we'd have to have the actual plans to see what you're
Yeah.
doing, but I can't imagine it's gonna be a problem.
I mean, I will tell you that what we're looking at is an 8,000 to 10,000 square foot facility with some room for expansion as well. So we're happy to continue. I mean, we're happy to still be here. We just, the buildings, they're just not holding up to our needs in a lot of different areas. But we're not going to, I want to be very clear, because I just want to be very clear that we're not leaving, number one. Number two, that we're going to repurpose those buildings and we'll have a presence downtown, so.
And we're just
Okay.
happy that your business continues to thrive,
I hope so.
and you're in the community.
And I will be back with a more eloquent presentation when we get closer. Okay,
Great. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Have a good evening. Any other comments? Committee reports, administration and finance.
Good evening, Mayor Board. I sent in your, or Joe sent in your packet, I just sent to Joe, that financial update as of August, which is, as you know, the next to the last month in your fiscal year. So as I sent those out, one of the things I noted is the deficit in the general fund. We have expenditures exceeding revenues with 11 of the 12 months of the fiscal year complete. Largely, that is related to, we have some costs that exceeded the planned budget, and then we have franchise fees that were planned in the budget that have not realized. And on those franchise fees, those are obviously estimates as they occur in the budget based on prior years. This year, receipts and things for franchise fees like your utilities, your gas, electric, and those types of things, as well as your phone and cable, are coming in lower than what were planned in the budget. So when the budget is planned, statutorily, we have to submit a budget that is at a minimum at a zero, that we have the same amount of revenues and expenditures, or you have to use your reserves in order to balance your budget. In this case, the revenues that were in the budget are there to balance the expenditures, but they're not being realized, which is why you're operating in a little bit of a deficit as we're going into the end of the fiscal year. So as of August, the general fund is spending more, about $45,000 more than has come in for the fiscal year, so I want to make sure that I highlight that for you all. The combat grant, we did only receive that one grant, and there's been lots of delays in Jackson County's budgeting, which obviously impacts that as well. So if you just think about it in terms of context, The remainder of the funds are generally operating the same as they've been trending all year long. For the tax fund, the expenditures are less than revenue, which is what we like to see at the start of the year. From a budgetary perspective, we realigned things for the budget company that you guys are going to talk about in a bit. So I'm not concerned about the volumes being different compared to the budget going forward. On the street fund, we do have another deficit. As of August, we have about a $32,000 deficit where we have a combination of personnel costs greater than what we planned in the budget, as well as our contractual services that we've used where we've used other resources. So the combination of those two are really driving the expenditures in excess of the revenues we've received so far. And those revenues being largely your sales tax for your streets as well as your motor vehicle taxes that you receive from your area. On fairs and festivals, again, a nominal deficit through August, largely because we have some MAFF dues that were paid this year that we're not paying in the budget, so that's really the primary driver for that deficit. In parks, there is a surplus of cash in that revenues are exceeding the expenditures to the tune of about $12,000 for the year. In your parks capital, you had some projects that you completed this year, so your receipts coming in from use tax are less than your expenditures, but you have a pretty sizable fund balance for expenditures of projects and those types of things. The projects that were in this budget, I noted for you just to remind, because it's been a minute since some of those have happened. And those are really your pickleball projects, the new UTV and those types of things. So far this year through August, you're at about a $59,000 deficit for those projects that were completed. Water and sewer are operating. If you remember several months ago when it was spring-ish time, we were operating at a deficit, right? And I said, hey, it's going to be okay because we see an increase of water consumption over the summer months. And that happened again this year, just like we expect every year. So those programs are operating with a surplus as we work through $155,000 in water, $22,000 in sewer. So that gives you $177,000 in that fund where you have revenues in excess of your expenditures. And then we have the ARPA fund where you have your wastewater treatment plant project happening. The expenditures you see this year, there's no revenues, obviously, because that money came in some time ago. And then those just get drawn down. And we do all those accounting entries at the end of the year. So when we get ready to close the fiscal year, which we are getting ready to do, there's a lot of accounting activity that occurs to record due from entries. And what those are is we have a cash system where we have multiple cash accounts. But when we get our utility bill, we get one every bill. So what has to happen on the accounting side is cash has to be moved from one fund to the next. Because by state law, I have to make sure that your water fund pays for your water fund only and your general fund pays for your general fund. Your parks fund only pays for your parks fund. So, but when that bill comes in, and each of these departments have expenditures on that bill, we have to move cash from one fund to the next to make sure that we are following state law and accounting rules related to cash transactions. So all of those things happen throughout the year. There are transfers that happen through different funds. So let's say, for example, there's a work comp bill that is for the entire city. Let's say that work comp bill gets paid and it gets paid out of the general fund. I have to move cash between the funds to repay the general fund for each fund's contribution to that. So those due from entries happen throughout the course of the year. Joe and I met in August, it was in August, and went through those due froms as of August and made all of those transactions. And that's a regular duty of the city administrator to review that and make sure that he signs off on it before we make those transactions. So those things happen every month. And I just want to make sure I remind you that happens. It's going to happen again in September when we get ready during the month of October, looking through our financials. He has a responsibility to sign off on that so that I can go ahead and do those accounting entries. And those are going to happen again as we get prepared for the end of the fiscal year. AGH has been able to contact 2 accounting firms that have expressed interest in evaluating whether or not they will audit Buckner, which is better than where we were before. You know, a reminder of a year ago when AGH was first contracted, the city of Buckner had extended 2 bids for audits with 0 positive responses, meaning that there were firms that responded and said no thank you, And then there were no other firms that responded. So the city has attempted multiple times to engage a firm, and they've not been interested, and largely because of the lack of knowledge and accounting experience for the staff that was here. We now have 2 firms since we have been here for a year that are willing to entertain that. I have sent them preliminary financial information for them to evaluate. Their biggest hesitation continues to be the fixed assets. So the fixed assets of the city have not been well maintained or retracked. And there have been records of the city that have been prematurely disposed of, not with any ill intent, it was just a misunderstanding. State law requires the city retain 7 years worth of financial records. And at some point in the city's history, there was someone that misunderstood that clock, and so some records were, accounts payable records, were destroyed. I can still see the financial transactions in the system, but I don't have the supporting documentation for that. So that's the hurdle that we're trying to cross with these accounting firms to help them understand and get them comfortable that these transactions did in fact occur. And then if there are some of the transactions that they want me to go back to the vendor to get actual invoices, like duplicate invoices to support those, I will have to do that. But before I do that, I will be coming back to this board because everything that I do costs money, right? And so as we start moving forward towards an audit and trying to address some of the prior financial transactions, I will be coming back to the board and saying, hey, this is what this is going to look like. I need some guidance from you as an elected body on what to do. So I just want to give you a heads up that that's going to be coming. The last page of your update is really the cash, the status of the cash for the city. The thing that I want to note on here is if you look at that general fund and that balance of $1,500 as of the end of August, the reason on the GL side it's so much different than the bank balance if you look at the bank statement is because there's a lot of outstanding payments. And so I just want to remind everyone that every time we issue a payment, even if it hasn't cleared the bank, we have to note in the GL that that money isn't there. So when we start seeing the general fund operating in deficit and we start seeing a GL balance getting that low, it's a little concerning. So I just want to make sure that we highlight that it's something that we need to keep an eye on related to our spending. Questions for me?
How far back was that of those records accidentally destroyed?
So we have right now, I believe 4 years of records. And we're supposed to have 7.
Your firm's been with us, what,
A year.
1 year?
Yeah. Yes, we started in August of last year, so a year and a half.
This may not be a fair question.
Sure.
But on the budget, and previously we had been seeing, and not very much, on that Great Southern Woods, there was a pilot payment of $75,000, and I think the school got about half of it, and the fire district got about a third, and we got what was left over.
Correct. And that still happened in here as well.
Okay, so there is 1 more year of that then?
No.
This was it, right?
This is the last,
This is it, right?
This is it, yeah, next
Correct.
budget won't have it.
Yeah, so, I didn't know if there was a way to project what the payment would be. It's empty on the budget, there's no projected number on that line. But I didn't know if you had a feel for what that number would be on a go forward.
I don't. With items like that, so from an accounting perspective, money, like revenues that are received and then dispersed, technically should not be showing up as revenue and expense of the city because that is a liability. When the city receives that money and has to remit it, you should never see that through there. The reason
Right.
it's not projected on your budget is because.
No, I'm talking about our part, because we won't be doing the pilot anymore, so
Right.
we should be able to collect our own taxes.
He's basically wondering how much taxes you think Yellow was bringing in now that they have to.
I can look at that. I'll have to get back to you, Mayor. I'm not certain. That's a good question. I can take a look at that and see if I can project that out.
I know we're gonna see some drop in our sales, but I anticipate we'll see a drop in sales tax revenue with Toscano's closing and some other stuff, so I was just looking for offsets that might be.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
it looked
can
like
get
our-
back to you.
It looked like our gas revenue, our sales tax on gas was up a little bit, and I noticed we've been the cheapest gas
It
around,
is.
so people, I think we're seeing demand shift into our market, so there might be a little opportunity for a pickup there.
Yeah, I can take a look at that, Mayor, and I can get back to you with an estimate on that.
Sure.
And I'll send that through Joe, so he can send it out to the full board.
Okay. committee?
It's a fairly busy month, but nothing exciting. We're ready for the fair. We hired a Mark Hamill as a police officer. He was from Lexington originally. And then Sergeant Kendall came back full-time, so police department's full staff again, finally. Yeah, we'll see. Well, if I have that same report next meeting, but that's where we're at right now.
Big deal in sunshine. Park board,
Nothing to do with this one.
planning and zoning, public works.
I gave the list over there, it's in the packet. Kind of had a slow month, the guys working on the meters a lot, and then it rained a lot, and then we had an issue with the treatment plants.
Where are we on the meters? How many left to go?
Actually, that's what we just talked about earlier. We got 35 meters that are not working. And then we got additional 12 that are working but not performing right because they're missing one of the numbers to get it going. So the guys will go out next week and get those numbers and get it in the system, and then we should be back down to 35. The reason why they didn't do anything this week is that we ran out of supplies. We got these little grease pod packs that goes into electrical wiring and seals it up so that they don't get moisture into them. They ran out of those, and unfortunately, the only place we can get them is Center, so they got them ordered and be shipped in. Hopefully next week they get them and go back out and get these 35.
All right, and I understand there's currently an opening in public works.
Yes, there is. We're looking to replace a wastewater operator, train somebody.
Fairs and festivals. I think you got something that's getting ready to happen.
Yeah, it's starting tomorrow, and I hope you all come down. Last count, we have roughly 61 vendors coming, so it's going to be a big year for us. So we hope you all will come down and spend some time and see how hard we worked on it this year. So
And what time's the parade?
10 a.m. Lineup starts at 8 on Saturday, just anytime between 8 and 10. Parade starts at 10.
Are they still lining up kind of down there even with the?
Normal parade route. We're gonna have them come in a different way though from BB. We're gonna have them come in from 24, but normal parade route. Chief did go get permission, so we can still use.
Tony and I went down there to make sure they didn't dig up the parking lot before it's time to get out of there. So it's gonna be, we'll have to move one barricade, but other than that, we're good to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare.
Is that bridge where they're working out there, is that gonna be kind of, I mean, I guess just assures we don't have traffic from the north.
You get, yeah,
They're gonna have to make a heck of a run out and come from the north, because the bridge is gone.
Oh,
Well, we're not gonna go out that way though, right? Because they got it closed off for us to go out.
No, they,
No, it's open. They just line up just like always, come right out of there.
They're gonna move the barricades.
I'm gonna move, the one barricade's all we need to move, everything else is open.
Right.
I mean, you can help back
Cool.
me up.
Completion of the bridge supposed to be.
well, Jackson County emailed me and said it's supposed to be mid-November, but they thought that was kind of an aggressive schedule. I got an email yesterday from Jackson County saying that they are going to stop driving the metal poles for the bridge decking this week, and it's supposed to be a 6-day event going on. So, I mean, looks like they're on schedule, but
Yeah, they tore out
Jackson
the
County
decking.
said that, it's an aggressive schedule. He'd be surprised if they can make that schedule.
Yeah.
Michael's
Email I
trying.
sent you about the guy that needed to be contacted.
Yes, I'm sorry they keep calling you. If they don't get a hold of me and I don't answer them right while I'm working, they start emailing the chief and Joe about vendor spots. So these came from the time capsule. And here is a letter to the mayor. So this was from 1975.
1975, to be opened in 2000.
And then there's a letter there, and here's a letter to the mayor and board of aldermen for 2025. So we didn't know if you wanted to open those and look over them and read them.
June 4th, 1975, to the mayor of Buckner, a voice from the past. Frank Allred, Judge Roy Bean, had a lot of laughs in 75 and a lot of work getting our getting our birthday party ready to make a good show. Everyone worked, even the gripers. God is not dead, every day we pray, Frank Allred. And on a typewriter with carbon paper. Mark these days on your calendar, June 7th through June 14th, 1975. Our town will host many thousands of visitors that week. They will come from all over the country to help us celebrate the 100th anniversary of the incorporation of Buckner. A large committee representing every element in town plans to make this the biggest week of entertainment the city has ever seen. The highlights will be 4 performances of a mammoth historical spectacle with a cast of 250 people. The Centennial will sell stock certificates and donation certificates as never before. Considerable money will be required to finance it, and there is a need for immediate working capital. We therefore are making every local citizen, asking every local citizen to help underwrite this budget. Every contributor will be listed in the official program as a sponsor of the celebration. Our celebration, just like any other new business just starting up, needs operating capital, and to meet its initial expenses, this fund will be raised by the sale of stock certificates and donations. The certificates date to be redeemed is no more than the face value when the celebration is over on a prorated basis. The committee of your fellow citizens will call on you in a day or two to discuss this. We trust you will cooperate to make Buckner's Centennial Celebration a great success. Let's make everyone proud of Buckner, Missouri. Yours truly, Frank Allred, Operating Capital Chairperson. So that was from 1975. And back when you could send a letter for 33 cents.
I was 16.
That was a great school.
And it says, seventh grade. And on September 28th, the year 2000, the Mayor and Board of Aldermen, and this one looks like it was printed on a computer, like a laser printer. Jim Parcell, actually he was the mayor when I first started serving as a planning and zoning division. The Board of Aldermen, city staff, I bid you greetings. Much has happened in our city in the past 25 years, and we are quite sure this letter will find many changes have taken place. We hope time has been good to the city and its residents. For as administrations before us, we have strived to put into place those things which would help our community grow into your time and beyond. Continue to strive for excellence and to unity in our daily dealings with each other, always keeping the best interests of the city in the forefront of your minds as you contemplate the decisions of your time. Sincerely, Mayor Jim Parcell, Martha Crosby, Alderman, Dallas Wagner, Alderman, Billy Sneed Jones, Alderman, Larry Battles, Alderman, Randall Moore, Alderman, and Tim Runyon, Alderman. A few names you might recognize there. And Jimmy, you served with about all those guys. Did you take Larry's spot? Did you take Larry's spot?
No, I came on when, John Keith was on the board, and he moved into the mayor's chair, and I was elected to fill his up for a year.
The longest year of your life.
30-some years.
Congratulations. Would you like to go back, Leslie?
Do we want to put it in the next?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
Yes. And then if you guys would want to write something as well to put in the new time capsule, I think that would be awesome.
We're building a new docking port for our space cars.
So the contents of the time capsule will be in here in City Hall from noon to 3. It's been opened, we had to go through it and find out the recipients of the letters, and clean some of it up, but what was in there will be here. Plus, there's a few other, community members that will have historical things in here too. So.
thank you for sharing that with us this evening. There is no old business, so the first item of new business is Bill number 2506, ordinance number 1101, an ordinance establishing the rate on tax levy for the year 2024. That should be 2025, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll amend that to 2025 to be placed on all property liable for taxation within the city of Buckner, Missouri for general revenue purposes. You need a-
Motion to suspend the rules.
Yeah, there you go.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, rules are suspended. Bill number 2506, ordinance number 1101, an ordinance establishing the rate on tax levy for the year 2025 to be placed on all property liable for taxation within the city of Buckner, Missouri for general revenue purposes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Alderman Jones?
Aye.
Alderman Ross? Aye. Alderman Lockhart?
Aye.
Alderman Leeds? Alderman Norris? Aye.
Good for another year. Next item is bill number 2507, ordinance number 1102, an ordinance adopting the budget for the city of Buckner, Missouri for the fiscal year October 1st, 2025 through September 30, 2026. You have a copy of the document, I believe, there in front of you. It's, Margie said, I think she did a nice job. There was a couple of edits, I think, on the back. The big thing was, those engineering fees, we took those down because as we finish this project, if we got money, we'll do more, and if we don't, we won't. The other was, and I don't remember what the term for the honey wagon, basically, it was pumping the sludge. That's about $100,000 a year that we're paying now, that will go away when we open the reed beds. So that helped cover up a lot of the issues on the wastewater side for the finances. Overall, I think it's a fair budget. We'd always use more money, but we've got what we've got. There was one thing that wasn't on here that I'd ask you to consider is that we would look at maybe allocating $1,000 for the fairs and festivals. And that's an addition, just I'm sure as we work through, I know it's gonna, some of the chickens are gonna come home to roost from the party after the new fiscal year starts. And so if we put 1,000 over into the next year, that will let them have some seed money to keep working on trunk or treat and some of the other events that they do throughout the year. But otherwise, I have no issues approving it as written.
What fund is that there?
What, the fairs and festivals?
Yeah, what fund?
35.
35.
I think correct, Fund 30.
Yeah, there. Yeah, that's
I think the current cash is right around 6,000.
Is there a line item for that?
It would be transferred in.
That's right.
Yeah, you transfer your line on.
Historical.
Fairs and festivals isn't doing trunk or treat, right?
No, not this year.
Do you know if somebody else is doing it or?
Churches.
Yeah, the churches are, and the school is doing their own as well now.
Right here in town, it's just the churches.
We'll likely participate with them, but as far as running it,
Is there no transfer in line from 2024?
If you look on the page, you're looking for Fairs and Festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right about the middle of the page, transfer in.
Oh, there it is. I know it is. Okay. But I was looking for the line item from where we transferred in.
But there is no action for this year.
Well, the one for the 2024, I know the spreadsheet I had on my computer had $1,500 on it. I don't see that on here.
Mayor, can I address that?
Yes, ma'am.
So in the prior year financials, there were a lot of entries recorded as transfers ins and outs that were not appropriate according to GAAP and accounting rules. That's just a misunderstanding from prior staff that didn't understand how to do governmental accounting. Those items, the reason you don't see them continuing on is because it's inappropriate accounting. So while you may have seen some historical transfer ins and out, which drove line items in the budget, they actually were improper accounting. So I've eliminated all of those. Those are items that I did not go back and reopen the financial system, which costs money to do, by the way, to go and clear all of those back out. I've left them as is. That's part of what I'm discussing with auditors. That was part of the reason Buckner was unable to have a full audit in the past because of the records we were handing off to the auditors were not in shape for them to be able to do a full audit. That's what we've resolved now. But we have left those artifacts in the prior years. So you may have some historical transfers in and out that were not actual transfers in and out between the funds.
So do those, like the closing balance at the end of the year that will roll forward, that's not a transfer in then, so how does that get reflected?
So the system, when it closes out, so when you close your fiscal year, what the system does automatically without anyone interfering, it takes your revenues less your expenditures, and whatever that difference is, that amount is what rolls into your fund balance. You actually do not have to do any accounting entries. So in your system, there is, in your GL, there was a line item that says salary year-end closeout. Those entries, whenever those were done historically, are inappropriate because the system closes out it automatically and you're not required to do those items. So from a GAAP perspective, any of the entries that we are doing to ensure the balance sheet is appropriate for the city, those are transactions that you won't see in your revenue or expense statement because we close those out and they roll into your fund balance at the end of the year. Like I said, I have left all of those items prior to AGH initiating contract with the city alone, and we're going to deal with those as we move forward with an auditor. But the cost of trying to fix that inside the system doesn't make sense for me for you guys. I don't think that that's appropriate, and we can deal with it and speak to it in an audit report and resolve the same issue. So as we move forward, the budget and the line item detail is going to look very different because you're not going to have that noise in your GL. And frankly, I think it makes it difficult for this governing body to understand what's going on in your financials when you have transactions in there that aren't real cash that's moving. So you don't have that anymore.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But they've got a requested budget for trunk or treat, but they're not gonna do it. For $1,000.
No, it's $100.
Is that 100?
It's 100 right here.
Oh, I was looking at the,
Oh, yeah, I was looking at, on the revenue side, not the expense side.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I see that.
And they could just reallocate that to a different, maybe they'll do another fun night, family feud night or something. And they have a fairly modest budget, it passes. So are there budget related questions?
well, I don't mind budgeting stuff to Fairs Festival. I just wanna see where it's, see, line items are a little more clear.
Sure.
Where was there a revenue on trunk or treat?
Donations.
Oh, okay. tree line down. And farther down, there's trunk or treat road.
My understanding was that Casey separated it. I'm not sure when they came in, they should separate what was allocated for festival. Because we asked for donations 2 different times.
Correct. So the general donations line would be just general donations without a specific purpose, because the, sorry, forget, can't.
I understand what you're saying.
So, the donations line inside of Fairs and Festivals is a special purpose fund, which means it's restricted. So inside of there, the 2 things can happen when you receive donations. You can receive donations for a purpose. So if someone makes a Fairs and Festivals donation specifically for trunk or treat, we have to restrict those funds specifically for that purpose. If somebody gives Joe $20 and said, this is for whatever they got going on downtown in Fairs and Festivals, it goes into that donations line to be used for anything in that fund only, but it doesn't have to be dedicated towards a specific purpose. So because Buckner has multiple special purpose funds, we have to delineate what those are for, especially around parks and around Fairs and Festivals where you do a lot of community events. If you are requesting money from the public, saying, hey, we're gonna do a parade, and they give you money with the intent of supporting that parade, we have to be able to designate in our financials that that is what that is for. And then likewise, in the expense side, we have to be able to designate what that is for. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any more budget questions?
We'll wait till you sit down.
Okay, wait till I sit down and come back.
Don't
Okay.
get your 10,000 steps.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. I'm getting close, I'm getting close.
Is there a motion to approve? Suspend? No, we haven't suspended the rules yet.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Okay. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill number 2507, ordinance number 1102, an ordinance adopting the budget for the city of Buckner, Missouri for the fiscal year October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026.
Move to approve. Second.
Alderman Jones?
Aye.
Alderman Voss?
Aye.
Alderman Alcott?
Aye.
Alderman Leeds?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Yes, Deb, we'll let the officials comment, or do you have anything, Jim?
Mayor's Christmas tree, we landed on a day.
We have, and you beat me to it. So. It's October 4th, the Heart of God, I believe from 5. I have.
Dinners at 5, auctions at 6.
That's quicker than me looking at the email. It's not artificial, it's real intelligence. Okay, yes, and coincidentally, was that the same day that we were doing the city cleanup?
Yes, it is.
So it'll be a busy day. Well, thank you, Margie, for all the work on getting the budget pulled together. I know from experience how much time that takes, so thank you. Thank you to the board for everyone for being here. One of the things you pointed out earlier was basically making sure that we're respectful of city assets and that we're not any one of us doing something. So just remember that the committee has to instruct her or Steve or whoever we're working with that it needs to be a city motion that we, because we're incurring expenses when we say, hey, will you look up and fill in the blank or whatever that costs money. So we need to do it when we're in session so everybody knows what's going on. Otherwise, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you, folks.